there. Alright, so I'm going to make something different today. I've got a pork shoulder on my grill. It's been going since 8:30 this morning, so it's already been a good 9.5 hours on the grill. I'm going to make pulled pork, and I'm going to actually use it for a loaded pulled pork nachos tonight. They're going to be delicious. So to start off, I did want to show you how I seasoned it all this morning, but I was in my jammies and you guys probably didn't need to see that, so I'll just explain to you right now what I did. So I pulled out my pork shoulder and I patted it down. It's just a small 5-pound shoulder, it's nothing big. I patted it down with some paper towel, and then I added a nice layer of just olive oil, and then I added my seasoning. So my seasoning mix, I kept it pretty simple. I made my own. You can always use store-bought seasoning, or if you have the seasoning you love, you can just add that one. What I added, I didn't measure. I just put it in one of those like seasoning containers, one of my old ones that I had that was empty, and I added a good chunk of brown sugar. I added seasoning salt, I added black pepper, some garlic powder, some onion powder, some smoked paprika, and a little bit of chili powder. That's it. Simple. So when you put that on the olive oil, it sticks really nicely, and you want to add a good generous amount of seasoning to it. So what I did is I put it in a tinfoil container, but I put a grate on the top, so it's sitting above the tinfoil container. In the tinfoil container, I added half apple juice and half apple cider, and that, like, the moisture from that will go into the meat as well while it's cooking, so it keeps everything a little bit moist in my grill. Right now, it's been going for 9.5 hours. The internal temp of my pork is 161, so I do have a ways to go. I want to get it to about 203 for it to be pulled pork worthy. I do have my grill set to 250 right now. For the first 6 hours, it was set at 225. I upped it just slightly to finish it off, just so that it's ready in a timely manner tonight. And then I'll show you how I prepare my nachos. But first, I'll actually take a glimpse. I haven't opened it since I put it on this morning, so I do want to just check to make sure the liquids aren't dry at the bottom. So when I open it, I'll give you a little glimpse of what it looks like now. So while my pork is finishing on my grill, I'm going to make a spicy avocado crema. So I've got my mini little food processor here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add about a 1/4 cup of cilantro, and then I'm going to add 1 medium-sized avocado that I sliced into like cubes. Hopefully this all fits. And then I've got 3/4 cup of sour cream. You can use an actual creme, but I prefer sour cream. Alright. And then 1 lime that I've chopped into quarters, and I'm just going to squeeze that in there for some nice acidity. It's going to be so good, these nachos. I love a nice loaded nacho. I've got so many veggies that I'm going to top it with. I'll show you in a sec. Okay, now I'm going to add a teaspoon of chipotle tabasco. You can use any chipotle hot sauce, and if you're sensitive to heat, you can always start with less and add more. But if you like heat, like I do, you can always add a little bit more. So I'm giving it a good teaspoon. And a little bit more. I'm actually going to go for 1.5 teaspoons. It's going to be so yummy. I'm going to drizzle this on the top of the nachos. This will be perfect. All right. So I'm going to blend that up in my processor. What else I have, though, that I'm going to top the nachos with when they're all ready is I've got chopped up green onion. I've got chopped up yellow peppers, orange peppers, black olives, my fresh garden tomatoes, yum, and some pickled jalapenos. So I'm gonna go ahead and process this and put that in the fridge for later, and then I'll show you what I'm gonna make next. Now I'm gonna make a barbecue sauce. It's a rum barbecue sauce. It's my mother-in-law who, it's kind of a play on one that she makes, and it's delicious. So what I already have in here is 1 cup of chili sauce, which is kind of like a ketchup, just chili sauce, but it comes in a container like this. And then I also already have 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce in there. I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, 1/4 cup of brown sugar. I'm going to also add 1 tablespoon of honey. Okay, I got my 1 tablespoon of honey. Scoop that in there. I'm also going to put in 1 teaspoon of sriracha. More if you like spice, less if you don't. And then dark rum. Just plain old dark rum. I'm going to put in 1/4 cup. There we go. This is a sauce. I don't simmer it on the stove, but you can if you want. Like, you can burn off the alcohol on that, but I find it makes this perfect thick sauce, good enough as is, without having to simmer it. The seasonings I'm going to add is 1 teaspoon onion powder, 1 teaspoon garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika, 1/2 teaspoon of chili powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. I'm going to go ahead and combine that. Okay. And last thing is just give it a taste. If there's anything that you feel is missing, you can add it. Yeah, if you want more spice, you can add more spice. If it's not sweet enough, you can add more brown sugar or honey. All right, so I tried it again and it's perfect. I like it the way it is. I like to serve my pulled pork without any sauce on it. Just I add a little bit of the apple cider vinegar into the meat to give it that tang and the natural flavors of the pork. And then people can choose if they want sauce on it or not. For the nachos I'm making tonight, I'm just going to drizzle it with the barbecue sauce over top, as well as that awesome spicy avocado crema that I made. So I'm going to put this in the fridge, and I'm going to wait for my pork to be done, and then I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so my pork is done. This is just half of it. I pulled it already. I made the pork yesterday. I made a 5-pound pork shoulder, and I expected it to take no more than 12 hours, low and slow, so 225, 250. Well, I was wrong. It took longer than that. It took 14 hours, and I didn't really plan for that. So we wound up ordering pizza last night, and we get to have pulled pork nachos tonight. It's ready when it's ready. So give yourself lots of time. If it's done hours ahead of time, you can wrap it in foil or butcher paper and keep it in a cooler with towels for like 5 to 6 hours. I've done it before and it works fantastic. Like, it's just loaded up with towels, make sure it's wrapped nice and tight, and it will stay warm and it will taste amazing. So I didn't give myself enough time, clearly. I didn't pull it off the grill till about 10:30 last night. I'm gonna make it tonight. So what I did, unfortunately I didn't show you how I pulled it apart, but it fell apart. It's great. It's so juicy and tender. What I added to my pulled pork once I pulled it though was about 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar and about 1 tablespoon of honey, and I mixed that in with it. And now, like, you eat this pork just like that and it's so flavorful and good. I've got my sauces on the side though. This is the rum barbecue sauce that I made yesterday. And I've also got my avocado, cilantro, lime crema. And so, you know, you don't have to load it up with barbecue sauce. It's already got so much flavor. I'm just going to add that kind of as a drizzle at the end. So I'm going to go ahead and start my nachos. I've already got just a pizza tray that I lined with tin foil. I put a small layer, like just to cover the bottom, with my Tostitos. I've got my green onions, yellow peppers, orange peppers, black olives, jalapenos, pickled jalapenos, fresh garden tomatoes, and my cheddar cheese that I grated, and my pulled pork. So I'm going to go ahead and just throw a layer of cheese on first. The cheese kind of acts as a barrier so all the more like wet ingredients won't make your chips soggy. So sprinkle that on liberally. I like a lot of cheese on my nachos. Alright, I've added my layer of cheese. Now I'm going to add a little bit of the yellow peppers. You can kind of add what you want to nachos. I know peppers are probably not the most traditional ingredient. I like it, and I add them raw because it adds a really nice crunch to your nachos. But you can always saute them a little bit if you want them to be a bit softer. Alright, now I'm going to add a little bit of my orange peppers. And it also makes it really nice and pretty and colorful. Okay, a little bit of the black olives. My husband doesn't like black olives, but he can pick them off. I love black olives. And I'm going to add some tomatoes. I'm going to add the jalapenos just on the top because my husband doesn't really like the jalapenos. He's kind of more just meat and veggies. Jalapenos are filler that he doesn't like. Alright, so I've got that. I'm going to add a little bit of the green onion. Okay, now I'm going to add some pork. You just kind of sprinkle it on. It's a little cold now, so that's why it might not look as juicy as it did yesterday. But once it warms up, this stuff is gold. Alright, now that I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and add another layer of chips. You thought I was done? Nope. I'm just going to keep doing this layer after layer. That way every chip gets some of that cheesy, veggie, pulled pork goodness. I think I could finish this plate. It's not that big. Alright, so I got my another layer, and all I'm going to do is basically the same thing. Add my cheese first. Okay, and then same thing, all my veggies. Alright, one more time. Alright, so this beast is pretty much ready to go onto the grill. I am going to add just a very small drizzle of my barbecue sauce that will heat up with the grill onto my pulled pork on the top. I'm going to add a little bit more after as well. Not a lot, just a little drizzle. Okay, just that much. So I'm going to go, I've got my grill set to 225 because I want a really nice smoke flavor in these nachos. I'm going to go out there and I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, so I'm ready to go. My nachos. These are not your average nachos. They are going to be amazing. 3 layers. Full with all of those toppings. It's going to be amazing. Alright, my grill is up to 225 now. Perfect. I've got maple pellets in there. I'm going to go ahead and throw it on. There we go. And I'm just going to let that go now and keep an eye on it. I figured it's probably going to take about 30 to 45 minutes because I want all that cheese melted into those toppings, and it's going to be delicious. When it's all done, I'll show you the final product. Have it. My nachos are done. Just pulled them off the grill. They took about, I'd say about 40 minutes at 225. Everything's nice and melted, and I tasted a chip and it tastes nice and smoky. It's delicious. Alright, so I'm going to serve this with a side of salsa and a side of sour cream. And then I'm also going to give it a little drizzle of that barbecue sauce again to go with that pulled pork. Just a little bit everywhere. And I'm also going to give a little drizzle of my avocado, cilantro, lime crema. perfect. That's it. There you have it, my pulled pork loaded nachos. If you like this video, please like the video and subscribe to my channel.